Before I get started with this video, I would like to thank Caressa for sending me this story that is coming out of Brooklyn, New York, where you have this rabbi by the name of Yoel Roth, who is currently under investigation for the role he played in commemorating underage marriages. Before I even opened my mouth to do this video, I said to myself, nothing's going to happen to this guy. They're going to brush it off. This story is going to get brushed under the rug, under the table, underground. And for many of you, this may be the first time you'll ever hear this story, and it may probably be the last unless someone else picks it up. But let's go ahead and get into it. Inside a Brooklyn yeshiva, more than 100 people gathered last month to dance and celebrate the marriage of a 15-year-old bride. The groom was either 21 or 22, according to someone who was in attendance. Now, Yoel Roth, the Hasidic rabbi who heads the Williamsburg yeshiva called Mosdos Heichel Hakadesh Breslev, is under investigation by the NYPD and City Administration for Children's Services for his role in arranging and performing unofficial underage marriages, according to the report in the forward. A spokesman for the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office confirmed it was aware of an investigation into marriages Roth performed. The legal age for a civil marriage in New York is 18, with 17-year-olds allowed to wed with parental and court permission. While Roth's wedding are only religious ceremonies, the couples are not old enough to get a city marriage license. The unions could run afoul of state laws. These are not legal marriages in New York State. I am sure there's a big fancy wedding, but it's not like anyone at that wedding is asking to see the marriage license, said Freddie Rice, the founder of the Unchained at Last, which advocates against forced marriages. What it means is a lifetime of rape. For Met Goldberger, a writer who used to belong to the Satmar Hasidic sect, posted a photo on Twitter last month of a baby-faced boy she said was 15 and newly engaged to a 17-year-old girl. She alleged in a tweet this new trend was started by Roth. Goldberger told the Post that numerous parents have since contacted her saying Roth influenced their children to become his followers, so it's now sounding kind of cultish. She says she heard Roth's teachings forbid any kind of birth control or divorce. You get married at 15, you have a child at 16 or 17, and then that's it for life, she said. When asked about the investigation, the NYPD responded that it takes sexual assault and rape cases extremely seriously and urges anyone who has been a victim to file a police report so we can perform a comprehensive investigation and offer support and services to survivors. An ACS spokeswoman says she could not comment whether there was an investigation into Roth, only saying child marriage is illegal in New York and we take allegations of child marriage and child sexual abuse very seriously. The young couples introduced and married by Roth live together. He says in one video that if the groom doesn't have a job, we'll pay someone and they'll give him a job, according to a translation in the Yiddish provided to the Post. An older sister of the 15-year-old married last month was wed last year at 16 and already has a child, the wedding attendee said. Roth, aged 39, who is also known as Yoel, is described by some in the ultra-Orthodox community as a charismatic figure popular among adolescent boys and girls. He is also known for alienating the youngsters from their parents. He's a bona fide cult leader who's basically making minced meat out of parents, said one community insider. So they basically said it for me what I already figured just by reading a few words, that this is a very cultish thing and he has cult leader vibes. Roth is reportedly an adherent of a philosophy that dictates in order to save young boys from sexual sin, they should be married off young. He is the grandson of Rabbi Yekutzel. I probably mispronounced that name, but their last name is Roth, a noted Jewish legal scholar who died last month at 86 and whose Brooklyn funeral attracted large crowds. Remember, speaking of that, and I was going to talk about that anyway, but since they brought it up, remember last year, in the midst of the pandemic and everything like that, how when someone died in that community, they had that big, large ceremony right in the middle of the pandemic? I wonder whatever happened to them. I actually did hear, however, some of them did catch COVID-19. They must have thought that they was exempt or immune, but they found out otherwise. Roth veered off into a different Hasidic sect called Breslev and started the nonprofit Camp Breslev in 2016. The organization's mission is to conduct a house of worship for the Jewish religion. as well as help poor grooms and brides to have a decent wedding and everything they need to start on their own, state documents showed. Roth did not respond to a request for comment, and I don't expect him to do so either. And like I and not while not expecting him to respond to this, I don't expect anything to happen to this guy. It's some out there that probably agree with his views and his standards, and they're going to continue to agree. Like I said, nothing's going to happen to this guy. They probably not even going to be able to touch him with a 10-foot pole. Did you hear what they said about the boys who get married off? They said they have to have a job, but if they can't have a job, they will pay someone to give them a job, which means they don't even have to apply for it. They just pay them, say there's some money on the table. Like, look, we have this person right here. They just got married. They need a job. Boom, here's your payment. Give them a job. We don't care what kind of job it is, as long as they have a steady paycheck or some type of income that is coming into the household that can provide for himself and his wife and their future family. That is it. And they have to give them, and the person who got paid has to find a position for this person. For many, they gonna see that as a great exchange, and they not gonna listen. Nothing is gonna happen to this man, even though what he's doing is very, very weird, to say the least. But these are what you call the untouchables. They get away with so much. And dare you to speak against it either as well. And in some cases, they probably don't even care. They probably know that people are talking about them, but they feel that they're doing some type of work or ordained from above. But it does, like I said in my original statement as I was reading, that this does sound and appear to be very cultish in nature. And someone else in this article mentioned those exact words. Well, maybe not those exact words, but they did bring up the word cult. Because that's exactly what, when the minute they said followers, I said, yep, there it is. But it is what it is. Like I said, I don't believe anything is going to happen to this guy. I don't. When's the last time you've actually seen someone like this actually get dealt with or have consequences come for their actions? It's very rare. It is very rare. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you have not done so already, make sure that you text the number that is pinned down in the comments below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video or go live. And before I end this video, it's one other example I could give. Do y'all remember a couple years ago when it was a cop? I forgot what neighborhood he was in. It was in New York too. He was about to give a parking ticket to one of the so-called J-ish. Basically for a parking violation. He came out there and started to go off on the cop who then, I think it was a black cop too. Just doing his job. He was parked wrong. And not only did the guy end up not getting a ticket, but they actually reprimanded the cop for doing his job. That shows you how much power this group has.